Meep meep. Meep 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 meep.
What if I told you that some of the wildest and funniest episodes of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote were so controversial that they were banned for over 45 years? That's right, our favorite desert duo didn't just face cliff falls and dynamite mishaps. They took on something far more powerful. Censors who thought their epic chases were too intense for TV. But what exactly made these episodes too dangerous for children? What secrets are hidden in these long-forgotten scenes? Buckle up, because we're about to uncover the mystery behind the banned episodes and the relentless chase that defined a cartoon era. The mystery behind Wile E. Coyote's middle name. Have you ever wondered what the E in Wile E. Coyote stands for? It turns out this simple letter has a surprisingly hilarious backstory. Wile E. Coyote, the ever-persistent predator, almost went by a different name. Originally, he was going to be called Don Coyote, a nod to the famous classic Don Quixote. But something about Don didn't quite fit, so they opted for Wile E instead. It added flair, and that E became just a simple letter, until 1975. In a quirky twist, a comic book revealed that the middle name of Wile E. Coyote is actually Ethelbert. Yes, Ethelbert. While initially just a one-off joke, fans latched onto it, and to this day, the name appears in countless online references. So, next time you hear someone say Ethelbert, just remember, it's Wile E. Coyote's true middle name, at least according to cartoon lore. The reveal of Wile E. Coyote's full name wasn't originally meant to be anything serious, but it became a part of cartoon history. The comic book's humorous twist sent fans into a frenzy, with some even using Ethelbert in trivia games and casual references. But that wasn't the end of the joke. In 2017, Wile E. Coyote's middle name made a surprise appearance as a Jeopardy answer. Who would have thought that a quirky one-off name would become such a major part of the pop culture lexicon? Even though the name wasn't meant to be canon, it has persisted. The debate over whether Ethelbert is actually the official middle name or just an in-joke is still alive today. The mystery surrounding the E continues to spark laughs and curiosity. As with all good cartoons, it's the playful absurdity that keeps fans engaged. What started as a casual joke has grown into an iconic part of the Wile E. Coyote mythos. You might just start hearing it more often in trivia or amongst die-hard fans. One of the reasons the middle name has stuck is because it's just so absurd. Ethelbert isn't a name you would associate with the tough, relentless Coyote character, but that's part of the humor. The contrast between the hard-edged Wile E. Coyote and the stuffy, old-fashioned Ethelbert only adds to the character's comedic appeal. It's the same kind of humor that defines the entire Roadrunner series. Unexpected, quirky, and unforgettable. Fans of the show often joke that the middle name is one of the show's best-kept secrets. It adds a layer of depth to a character that, on the surface, might seem one-dimensional. But just like Wile E. himself, this revelation reveals that even a relentless, bumbling predator can have a silly side. The name Ethelbert gives fans something to latch onto, a piece of the character's lore that wasn't initially meant to be there, but now feels like a natural fit in the Wile E. Coyote story. In a way, the mystery behind the middle name is part of the show's appeal. Fans delight in uncovering these hidden gems of information about the characters they grew up watching. It's this sense of discovery that has kept Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote fresh in people's minds. Whether it's an unexpected character detail or an uncut scene, fans continue to engage with these cartoons, finding new reasons to appreciate the absurdity and charm of the chase. Even in the digital age, where everything is immediately accessible, Wile E. Coyote's middle name remains a fun topic of conversation among fans. It's a testament to how something as simple as a name can become an enduring part of cartoon history. Whether you love the old-school cartoons or the modern adaptations, Ethelbert has become an inside joke that brings fans together. The rules of the chase: why Wile E. Coyote never wins. There's one thing you can always count on. Wile E. Coyote will never catch the Roadrunner. But did you know that there's a specific set of rules that guarantee it? In the world of Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, there's more than just slapstick comedy. There are rules. Chuck Jones, the creator of the series, outlined a strict set of guidelines to ensure the chase remained consistent across episodes. Rule number 1. The Roadrunner cannot harm Wile E. directly. It's always a case of him outsmarting the Coyote. Rule number 2. The action must always be confined to the desert. No fancy forests or cities. It's all about the barren, rocky landscape. Rule number 3. There's no dialogue, just the iconic beep beep and some visual gags. These rules were the backbone of the series, making sure that no matter how insane the situations got, they stayed within the bounds of their unique world. But what happens when these rules are broken? Occasionally, the wild and unpredictable nature of the cartoons saw characters step outside of their typical bounds. The Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote didn't always stick to the desert, and sometimes there were even unexpected breaches of the famous no dialogue rule. These moments, while rare, often added another layer of humor and chaos, making the world of Wile E. and Roadrunner even more unpredictable. The rule about no outside forces harming Wile E. is one of the most interesting. It's his own ineptitude and the failure of his gadgets that lead to his downfall, not the actions of the Roadrunner. This self-inflicted failure is a cornerstone of the character's design. Despite the fact that he continuously fails, Wile E. Coyote never gives up. The Acme products, which are a major part of the chase, almost always backfire. These constant failures highlight one of the core themes of the show: persistence in the face of inevitable failure. The rules of engagement also helped create the charm and simplicity of the cartoons. With no words, the slapstick humor is universal. Every visual gag, from Wile E. launching himself off cliffs to his incredibly complex contraptions, has the same effect no matter where you're from. Whether you speak English or not, the humor still lands. These simple rules made Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner accessible to a wide audience, allowing the show to transcend language barriers and become a global phenomenon. In many ways, these rules were part of the show's genius. They set boundaries for the chaos, but also allowed for limitless creativity. The consistency of the rules made it easier for fans to latch onto the show's humor. It wasn't just about the chase. It was about knowing that no matter how ridiculous the traps were, no matter how far Wile E. would go, the Roadrunner would always escape with a quick beep-beep. It's also fascinating to think about how these rules shape the character's behavior. Wile E. Coyote, driven by his obsession, creates increasingly elaborate plans to catch the Roadrunner, knowing full well that these plans will fail. The rules never allowed the Roadrunner to attack, which made the chase a test of Wile E.'s ingenuity, not a battle of strength. This allowed for the character development of both the Roadrunner, who was always calm and collected, and Wile E., whose obsession made him a tragic figure. And let's not forget rule number 8. Whenever possible, make gravity Wile E.'s greatest enemy. This rule was a nod to one of the most iconic elements of the series: the repeated falls, cliffs, and explosions. Gravity, the force that's always pulling Wile E. down, became the unsung villain in the story, often more powerful than any Acme product. It's the failure of the Acme products, combined with the inexorable pull of gravity, that ensures Wile never catches the Roadrunner. These rules, though simple, gave structure to what could have been a chaotic series of gags. They helped the show maintain a sense of order while still allowing for the outlandish comedy that made it so memorable. Each chase was a finely tuned dance of failure, with the same set of predictable rules governing the absurdity. The banned episodes, what was too violent for TV? Can you believe that some of Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner's most iconic episodes were banned for over 45 years? What was so controversial that it led to censorship? When Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner first transitioned from the big screen to TV, not everything made the cut. While the episodes were beloved for their over-the-top slapstick humor, there were some moments that simply went too far for the censors. Scenes where Wile E. fell off cliffs, was crushed by boulders, or blown up by his own dynamite were deemed too violent for children. Even though Wile E. Coyote would always survive, dust himself off, and return for more, the censors were adamant that certain moments were just too intense for young viewers. The censorship wasn't just limited to the typical action-packed scenes. Some of the early cartoons had humor that was considered too adult for the time. For example, some gags, such as those involving racial stereotypes or blackface gags, were removed entirely. These moments were considered unacceptable in the TV-friendly version, even though they had appeared in the original theatrical shorts. Fans who had grown up watching the uncut versions were left wondering what had happened to their favorite moments and why they had been changed so drastically. Some of the violence that was deemed inappropriate by the censors included scenes where Wile E. was hit by large objects, crushed by rolling boulders, or even blown up by explosives, all in the name of humor. These moments, although presented in exaggerated cartoon fashion, struck a nerve with the TV censors who were more concerned about the impact on younger audiences. What was once acceptable on the big screen was now seen as too much for television. The editing process made many of these episodes feel disjointed, and for longtime fans, the changes made the humor feel less impactful. It's fascinating how the notion of what's acceptable for children has evolved. The Roadrunner cartoons, which were originally created as a visual slapstick comedy, used exaggerated violence to create laughs. The absurdity of Wile E.'s repeated failures, falling off cliffs, being hit by cars, and getting smacked by anvils, was a key part of the humor. But the censors' decision to cut these moments from TV showed just how much the standards for children's content were shifting. It raised a question: were these changes truly necessary, or did they take away from what made the cartoons so iconic? As time went on, more and more fans began questioning whether these cuts actually served the show's true spirit. For many, watching Wile E. face the consequences of his extreme antics was a huge part of the fun. It wasn't just about the chase. It was about seeing how he would fail, how he would rebound, and how he would get back up every time. The censors seemed to miss the point. The more ridiculous and over-the-top Wile E.'s failures were, the more entertaining the show became. Taking out these iconic moments was akin to watering down the humor, making the show feel incomplete for some. Despite the censorship, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner still maintained their place in pop culture. But these banned episodes, which fans never got to see for decades, were a hidden treasure, a part of the cartoon's legacy that was almost lost to time. Over the years, the original uncut versions of the episodes slowly began to surface again, sparking a wave of nostalgia and excitement for longtime fans. The unedited episodes brought back the full chaotic energy of the cartoon, allowing new generations to experience the full absurdity that made the show legendary. For those who grew up with the edited versions, Watching the uncut episodes felt like a rediscovery. What was once censored for being too violent now seemed like a nostalgic reminder of a time when cartoons pushed the envelope in humor and creativity. These once banned moments, now celebrated for their over-the-top absurdity, stand as a testament to how Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner didn't just break the rules of physics, they also tested the boundaries of comedy and censorship. The evolution of Wile E. Coyote's gadgets. How Acme changed everything. Ever wonder why Wile E. Coyote keeps trusting Acme for his crazy gadgets, even though they always fail? The answer goes deeper than you think. Acme Corporation is central to Wile E. Coyote's long-running chase with the Roadrunner. From rockets to anvils to spring-loaded devices, Acme is the one-stop shop for all Wile E.'s absurd tools. But why, despite the endless failures, does Wile E keep returning for more? What is it about Acme that makes it the go-to source for every ridiculous contraption he uses? In a way, Acme becomes a character in itself, a symbol of failure, frustration, and undying hope. The products may have a 100% failure rate, but Wile E keeps going back for more, always hopeful that the next purchase will be the one that finally lets him catch the Roadrunner. The choice to use Acme as the company behind Wile E's gadgets was intentional. Chuck Jones, the creator of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, wanted to add an extra layer of humor and absurdity to the series. In a time when every store seemed to have a version of Acme in its name, from Acme Plumbing to Acme Moving Services, it made perfect sense to have this universally common brand supply Wile E's gadgets. This not only added an element of absurdity to the show, but also a layer of dark humor. Acme was always there, offering Wile E a fresh batch of increasingly ridiculous devices, but none of them ever worked as expected. The idea of Wile E. Coyote continuously buying from Acme despite repeated failure plays into the show's larger themes of persistence and obsession. It's not just that Wile E is after food, it's that he's dedicated to a singular goal, no matter how absurd the journey may be. The ongoing relationship between Wile E and Acme highlights the futility of his pursuit, but also underscores his never-give-up attitude. There's something endearing about watching him order yet another ill-fated product, knowing full well it will fail. But somehow, we root for him anyway. What makes Acme products so memorable isn't just that they always fail, but that they always fail in spectacular fashion. Whether it's a rocket that shoots backward or a box of dynamite that explodes prematurely, the failures are what keep the gags fresh. The humor isn't just in the chase, but in the anticipation of how Wile E's latest plan will go wrong. The endless cycle of failure is part of what makes the show so timeless. Every failed gadget builds on the next, increasing the absurdity and the laughs. Interestingly, there's a deeper layer of comedy here. The fact that Wile E is a genius with all these tools, but still fails spectacularly. It's almost like a commentary on the lengths people will go to achieve their goals, even when the methods are completely ridiculous. Wile E represents that part of all of us that goes after something with blind ambition, despite the fact that the tools or methods we use might never work. His obsession with catching the Roadrunner, no matter what, mirrors our own persistence in chasing after impossible goals. One of the most iconic moments in this saga is the Coyote versus Acme storyline. For the first time, Wile E takes his frustration to the courts, suing Acme for their consistently defective products. This clever twist added a new layer to the character, showing that even in his constant failure, Wile E was trying to take control of his own fate. A live-action film starring John Cena was even produced to bring this premise to life, although its release has faced numerous delays. Fans eagerly await this moment to see Wile E finally stand up to Acme. But the delays only add to the intrigue. In many ways, the Acme Corporation serves as a metaphor for false hope and the pursuit of impossible dreams. It's a comically exaggerated reflection of the human condition, always striving for something that seems just within reach, only to fall short time and time again. Yet, there's something inspiring in Wile E's persistence. Despite the odds, he continues to try, never giving up on the idea that the next Acme product might just be the one to succeed. The emotional roller coaster of Wile E. Coyote's obsession. Have you ever wondered why Wile E. Coyote never just gives up? Is it obsession, desperation, or something deeper that drives him to chase the Roadrunner for decades? At the heart of Wile E. Coyote's endless chase is his unrelenting obsession with catching the Roadrunner. Every trap, every device, every rocket or spring-loaded gadget is part of his elaborate plan to capture his prey. But what drives him? Is it simply hunger? Or does something deeper lie within this tragicomic character? Wile E isn't just trying to catch a bird for dinner. He's chasing something much bigger, something symbolic of a deeper, almost existential desire. This persistent pursuit, despite the constant failures, reveals a lot about his character and, in a way, about the human condition. Wile E. Coyote is the embodiment of the fallacy of elaborate death techniques, the idea that the villain goes to great lengths and creates complex traps to defeat the hero, even though a much simpler solution might be available. But this isn't just a case of simple stubbornness. No, Wile E's attempts represent that tireless pursuit of a goal that we know is nearly impossible. He could stop, find a different meal, or even leave the Roadrunner alone. But he doesn't. Why? Because Wile E. Coyote represents obsession in its purest form. His relentless drive reflects our own desires, the ones that fuel our dreams even when we know they may be out of reach. What makes Wile E even more tragic is that, deep down, he knows that the odds are stacked against him. He's not just dealing with a bird that's faster than he is, but he's also locked into a self-destructive pattern of thinking. Instead of simply trying to outsmart or outlast the Roadrunner, Wile E overcomplicates his plans, making them more difficult and prone to failure. Every time his elaborate schemes fail, there's a sense of hopelessness that creeps in, but Wile E brushes it off, gets back up, and keeps going. His obsession is not just with catching the Roadrunner, but with proving to himself and the world that he can overcome the odds. The emotional journey that Wile E takes us on is also a fascinating study of failure. In a world where instant gratification is more common than ever, watching Wile E fail again and again is almost cathartic. We know he's going to fall off the cliff. We know the anvil will drop on his head. Yet, there's a strange satisfaction in seeing him endure. We can't help but root for him, not because he's the hero of the story, but because his failure resonates with us. We've all been in situations where our plans fall apart, where everything seems to go wrong, and yet we have to get back up and try again. Wile E. Coyote teaches us that, sometimes, it's not about winning, but about the relentless pursuit, even when success seems out of reach. Despite all his failures, there's a certain resilience that shines through in Wile E's character. This is where his true strength lies. He never gives up. Each failure is followed by an even more ridiculous, over-the-top contraption to try and catch the Roadrunner. This cycle of failure is what makes Wile E. Coyote a timeless symbol of perseverance. It's a reminder that even in the face of repeated failure, there's value in getting back up, dusting yourself off, and continuing on. For Wile E, the chase isn't just a means to an end, it's the point. And as long as he's chasing, he's still in the game. While Wile-E's obsession with the Roadrunner may seem comical, it's a reflection of how passion and obsession can often cloud our judgment and drive us to make decisions that seem illogical or destructive. This is not just a cartoon character. Wile-E Coyote is a caricature of all the ways we pursue goals that may not be right for us, even when we know we're heading toward inevitable failure. And yet, there's something beautiful in his willingness to keep going. It's a reminder that sometimes the pursuit of a goal is more important than the achievement itself. In some ways, Wile-E Coyote's obsession mirrors that of an artist or inventor. He keeps creating, failing, and creating again, in the hopes that the next idea will be the one that works. There's a certain nobility in that relentless drive, even when it leads to the same outcome. Maybe that's why we root for him, despite his failures. Because we all have a bit of Wile-E Coyote in us. We all know what it's like to keep chasing something, even when it seems just out of reach. And so, Wile-E Coyote continues. His failures are part of the comedy, but they also remind us that failure isn't final. Each failure is just a stepping stone. And as long as you're still in the chase, you haven't truly lost. It's a lesson in persistence, one that transcends the cartoon world and resonates deeply in the real world. The enduring legacy of the chase. Why we keep watching. Why do we continue watching Wile-E Coyote and Roadrunner after all these years? Is it their slapstick humor? Or is there something deeper that keeps us coming back for more? The chase between Wile-E Coyote and the Roadrunner isn't just about the antics or the absurd traps. It's about the relentless pursuit of something unattainable. The concept of a never-ending chase resonates with so many of us because it reflects the universal struggle of trying to achieve something elusive, no matter how many times we fail. It taps into the deeper human experience, the desire to chase after a goal, a dream, or a passion, even when we know that the odds are stacked against us. Part of the charm of Wile-E Coyote and Roadrunner is their simplicity. There's no complex backstory, no deep character arcs. It's just a coyote and a bird in a desert, running in circles. But within that simplicity lies a depth of emotion and meaning. The Roadrunner doesn't need a reason for his speed or his evasiveness. He's just being himself, a carefree, fast bird. Meanwhile, Wile-E Coyote represents all of us who try and try again, only to face failure after failure. It's a simple concept, but it's one that touches on universal truths about human nature, perseverance, and the absurdity of life. In addition, the dynamic between Wile-E Coyote and Roadrunner plays on the idea of opposites. Wile-E is the overcomplicated thinker, always planning and scheming. The Roadrunner, on the other hand, is pure instinct. He doesn't think, he just does. He runs and dodges without hesitation, embodying the essence of speed and simplicity. It's this dynamic that makes the chase so compelling. We watch because we want to see how these two very different forces interact. We want to see if the thinking coyote can ever catch the instinctual bird, even though we know deep down that it's never going to happen. Another reason for the enduring legacy of the Coyote and Roadrunner chase is its ability to transcend time and language. The slapstick humor doesn't require dialogue, making it universally accessible. No matter where in the world you're watching, you can understand the jokes, the failures, and the triumphs. It's a pure form of comedy that's easy to digest, easy to laugh at, and easy to love. The silent nature of the cartoon also allows the audience to focus entirely on the physical gags, making them feel more impactful and humorous. The way Wile-E Coyote keeps failing but never giving up speaks to a broader human condition. our inability to stop pursuing what we desire, even when it seems hopeless. In a way, we see our own struggles reflected in his character. Just as he fails repeatedly, we often find ourselves in situations where our plans don't work out. But like Wile E. Coyote, we pick ourselves up and keep trying. There's a deep connection between the character's persistence and our own real-life struggles. Moreover, the Roadrunner represents an escape, a figure that is free, unstoppable, and constantly out of reach. As much as we love Wile E., we can't help but admire the Roadrunner's effortless ability to evade capture. It's almost like we're cheering for both of them. Wile E. Coyote for his persistence and determination, and the Roadrunner for his pure speed and freedom. Their dynamic is a beautiful contrast, one that plays on the themes of effort versus ease, struggle versus flow. Over the decades, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner have become icons not just of cartoon culture, but of persistence and the absurdity of the human condition. They remind us that life is full of ups and downs, that no matter how much we try, sometimes we'll fail. But as long as we keep trying, we're still in the game. And that, at the end of the day, is what makes the Coyote and Roadrunner chase so timeless. It's not just about the laughs. It's about the deeper message that we can all relate to. So, while Wile E. may never catch the Roadrunner, he'll keep running, and we'll keep watching. There's something in his endless pursuit that resonates with us all. And in that relentless chase, Wile E. Coyote will continue to teach us all valuable lessons about perseverance, failure, and the power of never giving up. All right, that's a wrap on Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. What do you think? Are you all in for the chase? Or are you secretly rooting for Wile E. to catch him for once? Do you think Wile E. Coyote will ever catch the Roadrunner? Do you have a favorite episode or moment from the show? Drop your thoughts below. We want to know what you think. If you liked this dive into cartoon chaos, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Catch you in the next one.